What's going on, guys? It's Shay here. Today, everybody, I'm going to be doing my Season 9 weapons tier list. So, recently, a few days ago, I actually posted about my my Legends tier list, but that was like last season. So, I'm going to be doing one again, but I won't be doing one so soon because I literally just released that one, and it took me a while to get that video out. So, that video was maybe about like a month old. So, that's the reason why some things I said in that video were a little off because, you know, Valve wasn't released yet and it wasn't even Season 9. So, this time we're going to be doing my Season 9 weapons tier list because some of these weapons I think deserve a higher tier than certain other weapons. Like, because some of these weapons I've gotten, like some of the weapons I might have put at a lower rank I've actually gotten good with. So some weapons I'm still not good with, but now we're going to go on ahead and just go ahead and just do this. So with that being said, let's begin. The first one we have is the 30-30 repeater. So the 30-30 repeater, last season many people said that gun was kind of useless, but I mean it's probably because they are not good with it. But the thing is that I've gotten good with the 30-30 repeater because my hip fire with the gun is fantastic, especially with the shatter caps hop up. But we'll get to that. Also, I decided I want to wear my big boy glasses today, so that's why I'm wearing these. So yeah, the 30-30 repeater, I might have to put this thing at an A because this thing has so much potential in it. Like, also, sorry if you guys can't see the icons of the guns that well because this is like the only one I could find that was kind of different. But when I say the weapon names, you guys can easily tell, or you can even see the outline probably of what that thing is. So sorry about that if you guys can't really see that, but yeah. So next up we have is 30-30 repeater with shatter caps. So, ooh man, I absolutely love 30-30 with shatter caps because this thing makes it kind of like imagine the EVA 8 kind of mixed with an assault rifle gun. That's what this thing is basically, and it's fantastic. I absolutely freaking love the 30-30 with shatter caps. This thing is I remember I got my first win. 30-30 P2020 was my loadout. I had 30-30 with shatter caps, and then of course I had nothing with P2020. I maybe had probably an extended mag, maybe. But 30-30 with P2020, although that's not a really favorite loadout of mine. But this thing is definitely going at an A, because this thing that now holds a special place. And it's not going at an S because like 30-30 is not my all-time favorite weapons, but not one of them. But it is now one of my favorites because like 30-30, if I find it, even without that shatter cap top up, I'm still really good at hip firing. Turns and aim down sights, not so well. Sometimes I do forget to switch off that freaking the whatever thing, the shatter caps hop up. You can switch it on and off. I sometimes forget to switch it off whenever I want to just do some at range. So next up we have is the Alternator. So you guys already know the Alternator is going at an S because the Alternator has always held a special place in my heart, even before its buff, like its damage buff, like went from 15 to 16. Many people said that the Alternator was like the worst SMG in the game, but to me it has always been my favorite SMG, more than the R99, which I of course still use. But like the Alternator, now here's how much I love the thing. I'd pick the thing over the R9. That's how much I love that thing. It's always held a special place in my heart. So the Alternator is definitely going at an S because this thing, like, anybody knows that this gun is like a really good gun for beginners. Like if you like SMGs, then this gun is a really good gun for you if you're beginning to the game. Because this thing has great hip fire great hip fire accuracy, like even great aim down sights accuracy if you can control the recoil. It shoots at a steady 600 rounds per minute. So yeah, it's of course really freaking stable. And like the Alternator, as I said, it's one of my favorite SMGs. It's always held a special place in my heart. Like because I've always been good with it ever since I played the game. Like maybe I was a little rusty with it like when I started playing it, when I actually started using the gun, but after that I started getting really good with the gun, and it's still one of my all-time favorite SMGs. If I had to choose second, R9 will of course be in second. So next up we have is the bow, or bow check bow. So this thing has 3 hop-ups, or 2 hop-ups. I meant to say 2 because there's 3 icons. But this one is Deadeye's Tempo. Now, Tempo, this is what they call it in the game. Like when Legend pings the Deadeye's Tempo hop-up, they just call it Tempo. So, Tempo is like, it's not the best hop-up, but it's actually really cool for anybody who loves sniping in video games, or just in FPS games. So, the bow, I am not good with this thing, so this thing's gonna have to go with a C for me. All 3 of these, like, maybe hip firing is okay, but still, my hip fire with the, oh, it's texting me. So yeah, I'm really sorry for all the people who mainly loves to use, or like mainly uses the bow in their games. But I'm really sorry. This is not my cup of tea right there, because I'm not good with that gun. Ever since it came out, even after all the practice that I've gotten in with it, I'm still not good with it. So next up we have is the charge rifle. So I did put the charge rifle at a D tier last time, but I just think this thing deserves to go at a C tier, like a little higher than D, because freaking charge rifle has a crap ton of potential. Like, you know, because with that extra, even before it fires, that freaking beam that comes out of that gun is like, it's enough damage like to at least take out partial, like half of their shield, like as I know of so far, guys, because I don't really use a charge rifle. But this thing deserves to go at a higher rank than D. So yeah, next up we have is the Devotion without turbocharger. So Devotion, I love this thing in Titanfall, but this thing I'm still not good with it in Apex Legends, because in Titanfall this thing kind of has 0 recoil, minus from when you start shooting with the little wind up. But in this thing, like, it has okay hip fire accuracy in Apex Legends, but I've never gotten good, because whenever I shoot with it, I usually miss my shots every single time. So that's why this thing's going at a C. Same with turbocharger. Like, although it does decrease the wind-up time, I'm still not good with it. Next up we have is the EVA 8. So the EVA probably being one of my favorite shotguns in the game. Of course, Mastiff is still my favorite, but EVA will come in second place. So EVA's going at, yeah, actually just going at an A, because everybody knows that you can easily get easy dubs with the freaking EVA, especially if you hip fire up close. Because like I'm not good with aim down sights. EVA, I have done it before, both in Titanfall and Apex, but I'm better with it in Apex Legends. But it seems like, well, of course, in Titanfall it's a lot easier to get dubs than in Apex Legends. But the EVA still tops it as one of my favorite shotguns, because the hip fire is so satisfying when you hip fire, even without a shotgun bolt, it is still good. So yeah, next up we have is the Flatline. So the Flatline with Anvil, that's going at a D. I can't, because like I don't like Anvil receiver. Like, I try using it, but oh, what the freak, I think I just spat all over my freaking computer. But the Flatline itself is going at an S. So mainly it's because that, you know, everybody, you know, there's a lot of people out there who loves to use the Flatline, and I'm one of those people, because the thing, like, I used to be good with the gun with an optic, but now I typically run whenever I get a Flatline, I typically run the gun with no optic, like with no scope on it, like with no red dot, no 2 times, like no bruiser, no ranger, no nothing like that. So I run it with just iron sights. Well, I sometimes might keep it 3 times, maybe if I want to snipe somebody. So yeah, but like other than that, the Flatline still ranks as my favorite AR in the game. There's only 4 now, that being the Flatline, the R3, the Havoc, and what else is there? The Hemlock. So yeah, out of all the ARs, the Flatline ranks as my number 1. It's always gonna hold a special place in my heart. Next up we have is the G7 Scout. So the G7, like, I know what Fire Blast always says, but this thing's going at an A. Like, it's not going at an S, because it's not my favorite AR. Well, this thing's a marksman weapon now. I still consider it a sniper / AR. But the G7 Scout is actually really good, especially now at range. I'm not the best with it, but even with the increased hip fire spread on the G7, this thing is still good at close range. So, you know, if you easily want to get a kill with this thing up close, then this is also a good way to go, because like the hip fire accuracy is still good even when the hip fire spread has been increased. But I've gotten dubs with the G7 Scout Wingman loadout, which is one of my favorite loadouts to use in the game. But yeah, like, this thing is still really good even with the hip fire spread up close. Next up we have is the Havoc. So I heard that the Havoc recently got buffed, so you guys already know this thing is going at an A, both versions, because I love the Havoc, because unlike the Devotion, the wind-up time for the Devotion with turbocharger put into it actually kind of reduces it. When with the turbocharger on Havoc, that thing completely takes away the wind-up time, or takes up the charge-up time. It completely takes it away, and this thing becomes an actual AR. So, like, the Havoc, this still ranks as one of my favorite ARs. If I had to come second place, the freaking Havoc will possibly have to come second place. Sorry, R301, you still are my baby, but you have to come third place. But yeah, the freaking Havoc, This thing is a beast. Even before it's buffed, this thing is still a freaking beast. Next up we have is Hemlock. So Hemlock probably might have to be my least favorite AR, although I still love this thing. If I had to choose any AR, the Flatliner of course would be at number 1, but the Hemlock will unfortunately be at number 4. We had to be at last place. This thing of course is going at it. Let's try it at a B, because the Hemlock, like, this thing has really good hipfire accuracy, predictable hipfire accuracy, of course, at close range. Although it is, of course, outclassed very easily, like with automatic weapons. Like, although this is a fully semi-automatic weapon, I swear, I'm gonna lose brain cells from saying that. But this thing is like kind of an automatic weapon, but not. It's like a 3-round burst gun that shoots really good up close, you know. But although I will say this though. If you're really thinking about using Hemlock 1 every game, then use an optic, because although I've actually gotten dubs with just using Iron Sights Hemlock, I am not the best with Iron Sights Hemlock, and I do know a lot of people out there that are not good with Iron Sights Hemlock. And the optic I'm best using is either a Bruiser, or is a 2x Bruiser, or 3x Ranger. So those are the optics I'm pretty good with. Other than that, I love using the Hemlock whenever I find one. I really enjoy using that gun. So next up is the Craver. So I've actually gotten knocks with the Craver recently due to my accuracy with it in Titanfall. I really think I can convert that skill over to Apex Legends with the Craver. I got a whole headshot whole knockdown with a headshot. And maybe this thing's going at a C. I'm sorry, all Craver users out there, but this thing, I'm sorry. It's not my favorite sniper. If I had to choose my favorite sniper, Longbow would be my favorite sniper. I know Sentinel used to be my favorite sniper, but Longbow would have to be at my number 1 favorite sniper. So yeah, the Craver, I got a whole headshot knockdown with that thing, and it was cool. I freaking loved doing that. Like, I felt really good. When I got that, I was like, ooh, it felt so good. So yeah, I mean, Craver, I'm my favorite, so that's probably gonna go at a C. So next up we have is the L-Star. So I probably put the L-Star at a B the last time, but guess where this thing's going at now, guys? At an S. That's right, at a freaking S, because the L-Star has now outranked any other LMG in the game, because there's only 3, but it has outranked the Devotion and Spitfire, and this is now my new favorite LMG, because this thing fries you. It's so freaking good. Like, many people underestimate its potential, but I see potential in this thing, and it is awesome. Like, it is so good to get a kill with it. And the freaking L-Star is, like, many people say that it's not such a good gun, but you know, because like many people say that it sucks, but maybe it's because that a lot of people can't control the recoil on an L-Star, which of course makes a whole lot of sense because the thing has a crap ton of recoil. But I mean, other than that, the freaking L-Star is like a top pick for me in terms of LMGs in my book. Cause my new favorite loadouts for my favorite loadout for season 8 and currently now is L-Star P2020. Even with hammer point being removed and the fire rate nerf of the P2020, I'm still going to use that thing. So yeah, L-Star and P2020 and a crypto main. So yeah, next up we have is Longbow. So Longbow, S tier, because it is one of my favorite snipers in the whole game, because it used to be Sentinel. At first it was triple take, then it was Sentinel, now it's Longbow. So because I love quick scoping with the Longbow at close range. I've actually included this in 2 of my compilations, my kill compilations on my channel so far. I had Longbow RE45, and it is also one of my favorite loadouts to use because I have a pocket auto right beside on my holster and a freaking sniper. Technically, yeah, it is a sniper because that's what a DMR is. A sniper ready to go, and I can easily equip a freaking optic up there if I also choose, if I'm gonna get somebody from afar. I've gotten knocked to this thing from afar, of course, because that's what a sniper is meant for. So although I'm more of like a close range fighter, like although I win more gunfights at close range, I'm better with it at I'm not the best with it at long range, but I'm better with winning gunfights at close range. So yeah, the Sentinel, the freaking Longbow holds a special place in my heart now because I've gotten good with it. Like, it's such a good freaking sniper. Like, it's like some people say that who uses the Longbow, like, you know, like why do you use the Longbow? Well, it's because that it has a lot of potential in it. Like, if you see a whole bunch of people use the Longbow, like, especially people who are really good with this gun, they can absolutely freaking clap you like real fast. Next up we have is Mastiff. So you guys already know Mastiff is going at an S tier due to the fact because this still is my favorite shotgun because I can land my shots really good. I have to be really patient, just like with the Wingman. If you like, I heard from a YouTuber named Crazy Ratchet. I watch him all the time, like when he uploads some videos. Whenever he always says that, like, oh, if you like panic shoot with a Wingman, you're gonna die, but if you be calm and patient with your shots, you can easily win that fight. And I've learned that I learned that kind of the hard way, because I was panic shooting one time until I was like, wait, let me just control my shots, and I absolutely fried a freaking Octane with a Spitfire, and that was during season 8. So yeah, now let's go on ahead and go on to the next gun, which is the Mozambique. So the Mozambique, I will say this though, the 6-shot Mozambique this season is pretty good. So this thing's probably gonna go at a B, because the Mozambique this season is so good. You can get clapped by a Mozambique really easily, because I did Havoc Mozambique one time because I was trying to do a little sticky hands challenge, where basically, for those who don't know what that is, it's basically where you keep your hands on the first guns that you find in the first game. You can switch them around all you want, you just can't pick up another gun. But unfortunately, I had to, I kind of cheated on that challenge. I saw a Craver and I wanted to snipe somebody with the thing. So yeah, so the Mozambique is actually really good this season. Now, next up is P2020. So I will have to say this though. I say this, although I have so much love for the P2020, even after its fire rate nerf, I will say this: pick the Mozambique over the P2020 first, because of course it's a shotgun, it has more ammo, and of course, with a purple shotgun bolt on the Mozambique, that thing is so freaking good. I've used it. So P2020 still going at an S, because it is my favorite pistol. If I had to choose if any pistol I had to choose, P2020 is going to come in first, RE45 is coming in second, and Wingman's coming last. Although I love all the pistols, but the P2020 is going to be my pick. Although I haven't been using RE45 and Wingman a lot as my secondary weapons. So yeah, P2020 still my favorite pistol. I don't care what anybody says, this thing is still one of my favorites. I even use it at endgame. And also, I won my first game with 30-30 shatter caps and P2020. I won my first game of the season, second day on season 9. So next up we have is the Peacekeeper, or PK. So the Peacekeeper, a lot of people's favorite shotguns, although it did get a damage nerf, which was around from 10 average damage from pellets to around 9 damage. But the PK is still a really good gun, and I'm putting this at an A, because also, just like how it was, many people said that this thing is still, I think some people still say this thing is still as good as how it was in season 1, or basically before it was a care package weapon, which was around season 4. So yeah, I've used PK. I've used it. It's a really good shotgun, and it's the first time I actually used a gun when it was not, ever since, this is the first time I ever actually used a gun, actually. When Season 9 started, PK was back on ground loot. That was already the first time I actually used a gun when it was still not in care package. I used a gun when it was still in care package, but other than that, I like that shotgun. So next up we have is the Prowler. So I'm still wondering when the Prowlers come on the care package, but this thing's going at a, let's say at a B, because the Prowler is not my favorite SMG. Because if I had to rank all the SMGs, Alternator's coming first, R9's coming second, Prowler's coming third, and Volt's coming at last. If I had to say, the Volt will probably have to be my least favorite SMG, and I'll explain that in a minute, because it's right here. So yeah, Prowler, okay, this freaking select fire thing is actually really good, especially if you know how to shoot burst weapons really good at close range. This thing is an absolute beast. Because I mostly use the full auto feature on the thing. So R301 without anvil is going at an S. Actually, let's put that at an A, because the R301, it is one of my favorite ARs, but it's not my all-time favorite anymore. The freaking flatline had exceeded that. So the R301, everybody's favorite. If you who does not love the R301? If you don't like the R301, something is seriously freaking wrong with you. But R301 P2020 is still one of my favorite loadouts to use. That's what I use to for one of my best crypto gameplays, or one of my best crypto games I've ever played in my life so far. 8 kills, really close to 2K. But that's one of my favorite loadouts to use. But R301, when in doubt, use the R301. If you can't find your favorite AR or your favorite gun to choose, get the R3. Get the R3. The thing is it's always been a good gun, and I know a lot of people can agree with me on that one. So next up we have is the R99, one of the best SMGs in the game. So this thing's going probably at an A as well, due to the fact that that the freaking R99 is one of the best guns to use up close and personal. If you do not like the R99, usually you're a bad player. I have to say that. Like, I took word from this from another YouTuber who said, like signs of a bad player in Apex. But like, if you do not like the R99, then something is either seriously wrong with you, or you. I know some people might say, "Oh, the R99 is just not my favorite gun because maybe they can't hit their shots that well," which I can completely understand that, because it has a crap ton of I think it shoots around 1,080 rounds per minute, which is really fast. So I can kind of see why some people might say that the R99 is not their favorite SMG. Maybe it's because they can't hit their shots that well. But for anyone who's been playing the game for a while and does not use the R99 at all, and has never really tried out and say, "Oh my god, the R99 is a bad gun," well, it's called, go try it out yourself. Maybe you might really like it. So next one we have is the RE45. So you guys already know this thing's going at an S, both versions, RE45 with quick draw and without it. Because the RE45, perfect gun at the start of the game. But someone said that, well, I heard it from someone, that this thing is not the best for a beginner, which is true. The RE45 is not a gun for a beginner player, because if you pick this thing up and you're a beginner and don't know that much about recoil control, this thing can easily screw you up in a gunfight. Like, if you don't know the ways in terms of controlling the recoil on an RE, it's stupidly easy to control. But like for beginner players, that might be a completely different story. Because for the RE45, I don't recommend this gun for beginner players, because this thing shoots at 750 rounds per minute. It has that's a really good fire rate for an automatic gun. But the thing is that this is not the best pick, or not, this should not be a top pick for beginner players, because of how kind of hard it is for them to control the gun. Speaking of an RE45, if I can even give me a second. I have an RE45 prop right here. This is my prop I got, and I absolutely love this thing. I love playing around with it a lot, and I'm planning to paint it again soon. It might look a little smaller than the RE45, but I think it's a 1:1 scale, because I think the RE45 is this small in the game. So yeah. So sorry about that. So yeah, I love both guns, but those guns should not be a gun that could be used by beginner players. So next one, or due to its recoil. So next one we have is the Sentinel. First with Deadeye, or first with Tempo, and one without it. So if I had to choose, the Sentinel is probably gonna go maybe at a B, because it's no longer my favorite sniper. But I will say this though, it is a really good sniper for anybody because this thing is like, for anyone who loves bolt action snipers, besides the Craver, this thing is a must pick for a person who loves the sniping games. Because this thing, let's put this both at a B, because this thing has a lot of potential, actually has a lot of potential up close. I've sniped people, I've quick scoped people with the Sentinel up close. I've done it twice, once with Crypto, once with Octane during the War Games series. Well, not with Crypto, but with Octane during the War Games event. I actually did it with both Longbow and Sentinel. That was one of my favorite kills that's some of my favorite kills I've ever gotten before. But next up we have is the Spitfire. So now, due to the fact that the Spitfire recently just got nerfed from 19 to 18, and basically they kind of reverted back to how it was before Season 8, and like kind of a peace shooter, but still could be really easy to kill you, which I'm not so mad if I get killed. I'd rather get killed by a Devotion if I last season than a Spitfire. But the Spitfire I will now actually use as a gun now, because it got nerfed. I used to use the Spitfire a lot before it's buff in Season 7, but in Season 8 I stopped using the gun completely because of how many people use it, and every single time I picked up the gun and used it, I felt like a douchebag. So Spitfire is going probably at a B once again, because it's not my favorite LMG, and it's not my favorite LMG anymore. L-Star is, but like Spitfire is still really good, and this gun's actually really good for beginners who don't know how to control recoil, because this gun is basically a zero recoil gun, because it has no recoil basically. So next up we have is the Triple Take, which is now the care package weapon for Season 9. So because they switched out PK for Triple Take in order for PK to come back on ground. So Triple Take's going probably at a C, because I don't think I'm good with the Triple Take anymore. I don't think I'm not the best with that gun anymore. But other than that, I still actually really like the Triple Take. Like, I don't pick it up if I see it in a care package. I might pick it up. Maybe I should pick it up one time. Maybe if I'm on like live stream or something, or like a live stream video, quote unquote. I should pick this thing up and try it out, because I've not actually tried out the Triple Take in an actual game yet. So maybe I might pick that up soon. But the Triple Take used to be one of my favorite snipers. Although it has become a marksman weapon now. Even if it wasn't put in the care package, it has now became a marksman weapon. But they increased the fire rate a little bit, which was like from 1.2 to 1.3, which is not that much, but they increased it a little bit. And I think they also increased or decreased the aim down sights draw time for that. So yeah, so next up we have is the Volt SMG. One of my least is actually my least favorite SMG in the game, surprisingly. But we're gonna put this thing at a C. But this, I whenever I pick up a Volt, I actually really like it when I pick it up, because the Volt is like one of the more common one of the more common guns for the sweats. Like the Volt is a gun that's used by a lot of pro players, a lot of sweats. So that's not the reason why this is my least favorite, but it's just that I'm not a big fan of the Volt. It's not my cup of tea. The Alternator I love, but the Volt not so much. But last up we have are the Wingman, or the Wingmen, I would say, with both quick draw and without it. So these things are definitely going at an S. All pistols are going at an S. So yes, the freaking Wingman, another really fantastic gun. Like the Wingman, like it's actually been OP ever since all the mag changes, like from 6, 8, 10, and 12 from season 1. Season 2 it got changed from that to 4. The what was it? 4, 6, 8, and 12, or 4, 6, 8, and 10, I think. Then it got decreased from, or increased kinda from that, from 5, 6, 7, and 8, and now it's currently sitting at 6, 7, 8, and 9. My favorite change of the Wingman was the 5, 6, 7, and 8, because it fits the Wingman so much in my opinion. Because 5 rounds on a revolver kind of seems really cool for me. Because it gives me a little more of a challenge, and like I love 5-round Wingman, that's my favorite. But I still kind of like the 6-round Wingman. It's pretty okay, but in my opinion, I would have to go for the 5-round Wingman if I had to choose a mag change. So that's gonna be it for my freaking tier list. So this thing, I had a lot of fun doing this, because this time I actually think I explained it a lot more than what I did in my last one. So as you guys can clearly see, I also will tell you guys some of my favorite loadouts in a short amount of time. Favorite loadouts: L-Star P2020, Longbow RE45, Mastiff P2020, Flatline RE45, let's see, Hemlock Wingman. I also like using what's another gun at? I also like to use R301 P2020, R301 Wingman. I very rarely use that loadout though, because it's not really one of my favorites. I just like using it sometimes. We got let's see, R301 Eva, freaking Hemlock Sentinel Hemlock, Sentinel R301. A lot of those loadouts are my favorites. R99 RE45. A lot of those loadouts I love. And G7 Wingman, that's probably going to be at the bottom. So yeah, with that being said, if you guys like this video, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. And with that, I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.